Here are some different, the evolution of concept art for the suit. These are earlier designs that we didn't go with, but they helped evolve the suit into the final look. The suit evolved over decades, and it wasn't until an artist named Adi Granoff took a whack at the costume and reinvented it that you found a suit that looked more like solid armor, more like something with a military application, almost like a flying machine, and not like a suit that somebody slipped on and was skin tight and happened to be metallic. This suit felt real. It felt like something mechanical, something that was tech-based. And that was the image that I gravitated towards from the whole packet of 40 years of Iron Man images that was given to me.
The suit for the movie is completely different. In my artwork, I tried to make things appear functional, but they're not functional because there isn't a real person inside. We spent months and months trying to figure out how different sections bend and intersect, and how there could be a person inside, and if he bends his arm, will it actually break his bones? And I mean, all those details like that. And then the helmet and how the helmet opens, and can the head fit inside the helmet, and then does the make the head look too big? I mean, all these things that in a comic book, I mean, I just draw it whatever looks the best.
We have basically the chest piece, which you see on one of the other renderings here, the abdomen piece, which would go on sort of like a tank top. You have the boxer shorts sort of area, and then the leg. And the whole idea is to make each of these components expand so that you can just slip into them as one big piece, and then as you put them on, they would collapse and end up snug on the leg.
Here's Ryan working on some keyframe work from the movie of Tony Stark first waking up in captivity. This is the beginnings of some thoughts for the beginnings of the first gray Iron Man suit. So you can see sort of the chest piece, and as you can see, these arm pieces were inspired by this piece of hardware here.
This armature that we got from Stan Winston was basically a starting point to say how, what are the basic pivot points that you would need to be able to move your arms and have as much flexibility as possible.
This is also something that we use to help limit the movement that the performer used when we're doing some mocap tests for the CGI on it. This is sort of a dogfight sequence that happens late in the second act. As we can see, we're sort of cross-cutting between Rhodey, the pilots, and Tony Stark flying. And these have been color-coded and worked on and photocopied because this is part of what was used to be input into the animatic. This was all input into the computer and animated, and you're able to watch it like you would a movie.
I think very early on, John had a very compelling vision for how he wanted to cover the Iron Man action stuff. He wanted to shoot it like we took the Iron Man suit, turned it on, and basically we're flying beside it in a helicopter, and that's how we got Iron Man on camera.
The one thing that we still have over previs and animatics is that you can draw a scene really, really quickly, and you can draw changes really, really quickly, and as it should be. I mean, it's an exploratory part of the process to find the vocabulary of the movie and find the angles you want and come up with the coolest stuff possible.
If anything, that's the comic book artist who's sort of like, I'm just going to draw. I'm going to make this scene huge, and before you know it, it expands into something that's absolutely unmanageable, unshootable. It'll never go on any schedule. But what you can do from that is take the things in it that you respond to, and that's what John did.
So this is what I was hoping would be my office, but they made an appeal to me that this was the biggest room, so we need a room for all the previs crew. So you have animators, CAD artists, everybody who is involved with taking what we did on the storyboards and translating it into 3D animation. There are certain shots, like this is a really successful shot here. We like this one a lot. His little lights come on, his flying lights, and they're coming into the Santa Monica Pier. Some of these are a little bit too quick, some of them are a little bit off. The flow is pretty good, but once we refine it in the previs, it will then translate pretty much one for one with the final film. We've seen flying in so many movies, especially through buildings in New York City, We wanted to put this one on the West Coast, where flight sort of began, where where you sort of had Hughes aircraft, and sort of keep the tradition of him being a Howard Hughes type character alive. I really like this one, how he's flying over all the buildings. Really feels like you're flying up into space, to the stars. That's really cool. So when we're done with this, it'll actually, hopefully, translate into the actual movie. And we'll be able to watch some finished film while we're working on the movie and show it to the actors and the crew for morale. That's really great. And the camera shake is pretty strong. That's really good. See, this is exciting. This like gives me goosebumps. You're not even fighting a bad guy here. All you're doing is really flying through the air. As I was talking to the people doing the previs, the artists, the storyboard artists, the animatics, it was about how do you really viscerally make you feel as though you're flying? We've all dreamt about